Welcome back to the Cover to Cover Girls Book Club podcast. I'm Michelle. This is our other host, Hallie Bell.
She's over here.
She's somewhere over there. Today, we're debating. We're talking about the most
It's
popular
a
book and
sad day in the Cover to Cover Girls history. This will be known as our Civil War.
it is, but no, I think we need to start off with, our ratings because I think that you think that I just hated it as much as I say. I really didn't hate it, but we are talking about the book and the movie of the century, which is It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover. If you haven't heard about it, crawl out from under the rock that you're living in under.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And expose yourself.
Show us your face because it is everywhere. It is all over the internet. And Blake Lively's the main star. Hallie, you want to give us a synopsis?
It is, I want to give a trigger warning. We are going to
Yeah.
discuss domestic violence. It covers a girl, Lily, in a flashback, flash forward plot describing her childhood where her mother is at the hand of a domestic abuser and she vows to never go down that path. But alas, she falls in love with someone who abuses her and she has to make a choice. And there is a former flame, the Atlas, that she rekindles with. And I'll leave it at that.
Well, I think you missed a huge part of the book,
Oh,
Hallie Bell,
Of
which
course
is
I did.
which is what's Lily's full name?
Lily Blossom Bloom.
It's not real, Hallie. It's not real.
I love it.
Lily Blossom Bloom?
You'll catch my
Well,
daughter one day. My chickens are named Rosie, Daisy, Daffodil, and Hyacinth. So,
and it needs to be made known publicly that one of them is a rooster.
but her name is still Hyacinth. His name
Her name is
is still
Hyacinth. She is a chicken. She just roosts.
Yeah. Yeah. We don't discriminate. We don't gender label our chickens.
Mm-mm. No,
Not
no,
at the Wiley house.
no.
Where
So,
we had a non-binary cat last year. So
wasn't
this
there?
is a
There was
progressive
another one.
household.
We are politically correct in the Wiley household.
We are. But yeah, it's a tough book that I think when I was re-listening to this book, I was like, I listened to it this time instead of reading the actual copy because we just
Yeah.
covered the last book and we were busy. And I was listening to it and I was like, eating lunch or like, and I literally had to stop eating like during
Because it's so
this book
disgusting.
because it is so disturbing and just so heartbreaking and sad. And it literally made me ill.
Yeah.
Um,
And there's no
and
trigger warning.
yeah, and I think that when was this book written?
I would guess 2021. I'm going to
Really?
look it
Okay,
up.
I was like 2018 for some reason.
Oh, I'm going to look
But
it
I
up.
bet it's sooner. It just feels old school to me in that way.
Yeah. And I could really talk a lot about Colleen Hoover, but oh, we were both so wrong. 2016, Halle Bell.
Okay, so that's why I was thinking like 2018, 2016. Like that's crazy.
Wow. That's
So
crazy. I thought
that
it was
was
newer.
really, really before like trigger warnings and that sort of thing were
Yeah.
made commonplace about those
Yeah.
type of topics. And I mean, rereading or re-listening to it, I just felt so differently this time around. I think because when I read it 2 years ago, and it was when I just had my first baby. And I don't know, just something about being in marriage longer and having two children. I really connected, and the movie really just tapped into my maternal instincts. Like I felt like the
Yeah.
delivery scene was just so incredible, like nothing I'd ever seen on TV
I
before.
want to talk about that.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
Blake Lively just had a baby. Like, who volunteered their baby to be covered in petroleum jelly, and or was that her actual birth? Because it very well could have been a real birth.
It was so real, and I loved it because it's like this is something that most women go through, and
Yeah.
it's like a secret, and it's amazing, and it's like such a powerful thing. And I also, I've seen so much online about Blake Lively's body, and I'm like, if I see one more negative thing, I'm just gonna like punch a wall because she looks so beautiful in this movie.
Oh,
No matter what
oh,
she was wearing, she
phenomenal.
was stunning.
Yeah, she was stunning. And I do have some notes about the wardrobe choice, but regardless, she wore it all amazingly. She looked phenomenal in every single scene.
Yeah. I mean, this was a beautiful movie with beautiful people. Like I was just like,
Now, that's what I can agree with you with. This cast,
it
chef's kiss on the beauty, on the beauty. They are beautiful people.
oh my gosh. And I felt like the movie in general, the color palettes, it really
Yeah.
brought Boston to life. Like if you've been on Newberry Street where she is like opening her shop, I don't know if it really is on Newberry Street. I don't know where if it says that in the book, but it's Newberry Street. And it is the most cool street in
Yeah.
the world. Like it's just a
Yeah.
cool street. And they really captured it for me. I was like, "Oh my gosh, that's Newberry Street." And
Yeah.
I love that. And I love Boston
Wow.
because
Yeah,
my
I do
best
love
friend lives
Boston.
there.
We love Ellie. I wish she was
We love
here.
Ellie. Me too, because she would have a lot to say about this. She didn't like the book.
Ooh, okay. I was gonna say she would be a good middle ground for us. Okay, what did you rate
Yeah.
the book and what would you rate the movie?
Okay, so first, this is interesting. So first read, I was like, this is like a 3.5, 3 for me.
That's
And
exactly what I gave it. Yeah.
and then when I re-listened to it, I was like, this really is a 4 for me. And then when I watched the movie and just really like it somehow the movie honed in on the message even more for me because as you know, they admitted the headbutt of the final assault.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, oh, they did that. And oh, they make it messier because, oh, he didn't headbutt her. It's just a bite. And I'm like, it's just a bite? Like,
Yeah.
no,
No,
like
no, no.
these assaults are, and just the visual of it,
Yeah.
it, it really is. You just have, I mean, you have to draw a line. Like you feel empathetic, or I did,
Yeah.
everybody in the theater did. I mean, there were gasps and laughs,
Yeah.
and that was what was so fun about seeing this movie in theaters. If you don't see it in theaters, you're really missing an opportunity
Yeah.
because it was just such a cinematic experience. But I, everybody felt for him and for Ryle, and
Mm-hmm.
you know, he does have trauma in the past that led him to this behavior, but she has to breaking the cycle, and the safety of her daughter
Yeah.
becomes more important than herself and her love. And I just it
Yeah.
was just so beautiful how she just looks at him in that delivery scene, and she's just like, I want a
Yeah.
divorce. I know for sure that baby, you can't do anything to me because you're holding that baby, and this is my only time of power, and I'm gonna
Yeah.
take it. That's what I love about Lily is she waits for her time
Yeah.
to
No, that was a really good scene. That was the best scene of the movie.
And I just felt like the acting was very authentic. Like some of the lines Lily says, especially like during the first assault and second assault, they're amazing because they're like, she's like, if you do this again, I'm out
Mm-hmm.
that door, and it's
Yeah.
really brave. But to me, I'm like, this is so much more realistic the way Blake Lively portrayed it because she was just like, oh, what, just discombobulated, shocked, like didn't know what
Yeah.
happened. Really, she couldn't understand it. She loves this person. Like, did he really just hit me? Like, I
Okay.
just love that.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite parts. And let me also say, when I read it, which was probably like 2 years ago, I also gave it a 3.5 and rated it a 4 on Goodreads, even though it's like my one of my least favorite of Colleen Hoover's. But so I agree with you there. And I listened to like every single podcast on the internet that covered this book. I listened to in the last week. I was like, I want to hear everybody's thoughts on this book.
Oh, I'm
But
interested
oh, oh, it's
in your
crazy. This shit.
knowledge.
Oh my gosh. There's this book club podcast that I'm obsessed with now. I think they're Australian. I'll send it to you. They're fantastic. But well, I don't even know where I was going with that. I think the acting was fine. I'm not the biggest fan of Blake Lively. I'll say it. I have beef with Ryan Reynolds, so I don't love her. But I do think she did a good job. But I thought the younger characters, like young Atlas and young
Oh,
Lily, oh my gosh, they
oh my
killed it.
gosh.
Even Justin, like he was fine, but I was obsessed with the young
The
actors.
younger crowd, I agree. Like they shined bright and they are gonna
Oh,
be like the new stars. Like I could just see
I
her being
agree.
in the next big thing. Like she's the new
And
Dakota Fanning or something.
I don't, yeah, no, I agree. And I don't think, have you read Verity by Colleen Hoover?
So that book was brought to my attention when I was pregnant. And so it's like, and then everybody was like, oh yeah, don't read it. But everybody was reading it
No,
when I was pregnant. And I was like, oh, I think you told me,
yeah,
you were like, don't read that. And I was
don't
like,
read it.
okay, like I really want to read it now
Yeah,
that
you
I've like
should. But
entered this experience.
yeah, so the way that Verity is described is Blake Lively to a T. So
Oh,
all of us big Colleen Hoover fans, like 2, 3 years ago, were like, oh, when all of this comes out, like Blake Lively's gonna play Verity. She's gonna play Verity. So it was very hard for me to see Blake Lively as Lily, but I do think like whoever did the casting, like that young actress looked exactly like Blake Lively.
it was phenomenal. And
It
I
was
saw
crazy.
Colleen Hoover, she said, I when I was writing the book, I didn't realize you couldn't have a 26 neurosurgeon, like a 26-year-old neurosurgeon. So
Don't get me
she
started on that.
aged, so she aged up the cast, and
Yeah.
I felt like when I was re-listening to it, and of course I know I'm going into the movie and see, I could really picture
Yeah.
Blake, and I felt like the quirky wardrobe and that sort of thing. I
Yeah.
felt like it was just really fitting. Like I
Yeah.
liked it, and I when the pictures came out, I was like, oh my gosh. But the way that they
Hmm.
tied it in with the vibe, like they just
The
got
vibe.
the aesthetic is so just in
It's
like fall in Boston. Like that is what
yeah.
they're trying to emulate, you know?
Yeah. See, and I totally agree with you. I think the vibe was perfect for those actors, but I don't think those actors and the vibe were the vibe of the book when I originally read it. I don't know who
No.
it I don't know who would have been Lily, but it just wasn't Blake Lively. But she did a fine job with it. Like I wasn't unhappy with it, but
I just felt like the sincerity. I mean,
hmm
she really did envelop this character for me, and she made it her own. But I saw an interview where
yeah,
she was like, I'm so protective of Lily on
I saw
behalf of
yeah.
Colleen. And, like, just really wanted to do the character justice. And I, and she was like, I have it a lot in common with her. I'm not a victim of domestic violence, but I am a mother. I
Yeah.
am a lover. It's like we have all women have stuff in common with Lily, and we have to team together to prevent things like this, for the
Yeah.
sake of each other. And that just brings me to the friendship element. I I just can't remember what her name is, but the person that plays
Oh,
Elisa is just hilarious. I just love.
I absolutely love her, but I like she looks exactly like Justin. What's his name? Justin
Baldoni.
Baldoni. What they could be twins in real life, but again, she wasn't what I pictured from the book.
Oh, I
But
know,
she
but
did a
she
great
really
job.
did. They
She
took
no,
on
she
the
did
roles, and
phenomenal.
and the way that she was like, I need to find a place to set her down. The
Her
bad.
down talking talking about her like very and it's like a construction zone. She's like, "Where can I put this?"
And I love the way that they made the movie edit for her to tell the story of the brother.
Did
And
you
then
like that?
I liked how they encapsulated that with the third assault, with her saying, I love my brother, but if you stay with him, I will never speak to you again. And
Yeah, it's like yeah.
I loved how they really just like they encapsulated what the message was and they put it together and it kind of made it more dramatic and I felt like it was a good cinematic choice.
I agree. No, I agree. I was very shocked by that scene because I thought that it was a huge part of the book, but I thought it was also like it really displayed like friendship and like being a sister-in-law and like the safety of the matter because Alyssa was also like it so in the book Alyssa is like you need to go speak with Ryle so he can
Yeah.
explain what happened with his brother. But I think it
And
like is
that's
just another
after the
element of safety that she
it
didn't tell her to go back to Ryle to talk to
yes.
him.
And it was after the second assault, not the third assault. So it's like
Oh,
after the
yeah.
one, the second assault, and you know, and even then she gives him another chance, even after hearing his
Yeah.
story. But I loved how they did it after the third assault because even though he has a history, it doesn't justify his actions. And I think it really just nails that home for me. And I
Yeah.
think for all viewers, and it doesn't give that mixed messaging that you can kind of glean from the book.
That was a huge thing. So I went to see this movie with one of my coworkers and best friends, Tristan, and her and a couple other of my female coworkers. We were all talking about this book the other day, and all of us agreed that like the biggest gripe was how Colleen Hoover like underplays domestic assault, domestic violence, and like kind of like what's the word I'm thinking of? She basically is using his past as like, oh, it's okay because this happened in his past. And I think the movie did a good job of the
Of doing the
opposite, like
reverse.
doing the reverse. Like in
And
the book, she's like, okay, it's justified because he was a effed up 6-year-old, which
and
also
she's like,
isn't
we'll work
possible.
through it, we'll work through it,
Hmm.
we'll get him into therapy. And I think
And
a lot of women go down that road and they're like, oh, I can fix him. But Lily is supposed to be the exception. And I love how she made her so in the movie.
yeah, yeah, I agree. And one of my favorite things that they didn't include was there's a line in the book that's like, and everyone on TikTok was so upset about this. It's the line that's like, there's no such thing as bad people, just people who do bad things. And I hate that line. So I'm very glad that they took it out because I think it's ridiculous. Like, no, he's a bad person.
But culture has evolved since 2016. And, like,
Yeah.
I mean, it's a totally different world here in 2024. And I think that Colleen Hoover has grown up with this book and even learn more about her mother's assault and what it means for
Yeah.
her. And I just love that. I love that she's willing to admit when the book wasn't quite, and now she got the messaging right. Like
Yeah.
she did get involved in the movie and was super involved in the movie and um, made those changes.
Yeah. No, I agree. What
And
were
I
the other Oh, no,
one other
please.
change that I love was the name of the restaurant being
No.
Roots. I love that.
Oh, Halle Bell, it just clicked to me why it's called Roots.
Are you kidding? That was just so
Oh my God, it
beautiful
just
to
clicked to
me
me.
about how important the roots are, but and how
Wait.
you I just love
No,
that. I
but
thought it was
also
so much more beautiful than Bibs.
no, but the roots of the tree and the
Yes.
I didn't realize that, but I have such a gripe about the magnet not being included, the Best in Boston magnet.
Man, I think it
I'm
was
really upset
just
about that.
I think there's just so much in a movie that if you don't have readers watching the movie, if you just have a person coming in cold, that the tattoo was just kind of the anchor for Atlas.
For
And
sure.
like you can only have so many tangible anchors when you're
Yeah.
trying to get an important message across. You don't want people getting lost in the weeds. But in the book, the magnet
Yeah.
and that scene, they just
That
couldn't
that
do in a
scene.
movie because
No.
I mean, with the casserole and the apron, and like it just would have been too demeaning, for
Yeah.
to show that in a movie, I think.
Yeah. No, I agree. I was just like very upset by it, but also now that I understand, like it didn't even click with me why it was called Roots, but also I had a very traumatic experience leaving the movie theater. I
Oh
lost
no,
as soon as I got up, like still in the theater seat, I realized I didn't have my car keys and they're still
there's
lost in the
no
movie.
worse feeling.
Oh, no, they're lost in the movie theater. And I'll just say it, the managers of the Regal in Royal Palm Beach are dead to me. They were so unhelpful. So I was in like a very chaotic mindset when trying to process the movie. So there was a lot that I think I missed because
That's
I was on this high of my keys and
I
I didn't even
hate
realize the
this.
root thing.
I hate this because I had the best cinematic
I
experience
know. It
because
was so late though.
I was out till 1.
That's mad. That's crazy. Oh,
I am crazy. I so here's what happened. I like have been talking about going to see this movie like for a month, right? And
right.
I'm like, Greg, I'm going to see a movie on a Friday 3 weeks from now. Like it's been like
Don't
on the
bother me.
calendar. Don't
Don't,
bother me.
don't
And
talk.
no one bother me because I'm going to see this movie. So I put the kids to bed. I get in the car. I drive to a Mexican restaurant. I don't drink. I
I
order a
also went to a Mex
margarita.
I also went to a Mexican restaurant, and that was the funniest thing to me. You got a margarita?
I got a margarita and
Oh
I
my
drank
goodness.
half of it. And because I didn't want to feel like sick and I didn't want to get sleepy because it was a 9:15 showing. And I mean, crazy. And I'm like, buckle up. And so I ate 2 tacos, street corn off the cob.
Me too. That was exactly what I had. 2 tacos and street corn off the cob.
Okay, maybe you were with me in spirit.
No, I was.
And so we I like didn't have to drive. My mother-in-law ended up coming to the movies with us and my sister-in-law. We all pile in the car together. We're happy from our tacos. We're going to see this movie. We go in. I buy all the movie snacks. I buy Raisinets for Denise. I buy gummy worms, M&Ms, and Icy, and
Oh, I didn't I
Kit
see.
Kat minis. And we
Amazing.
just like, oh my gosh, we just sat and like ate like just junk. And like what? And we ate all the junk in the previews because the previews were 45 minutes. And I was like,
Yeah,
can we please start? I mean, all these movies look really good. There's a lot of good movies coming
but
out,
wrap it
but
up.
I've got to get home. And so if we hadn't seen the previews, I would have been home by like midnight. But
Oh
because
my
of the
God.
previews, I was home by 1. And I
It's
was just
crazy.
like, crazy. And so and like everyone in the theater was just bubbly and just
Yeah,
excited to see the film. And it was just like how movies should be.
agreed.
Like, it's not like a half sleep couple in the back. Like,
Me.
you know what I mean? Like, movies kind of like died for like 5 years and now they're like blossoming again, you know?
Wait, how much was your movie ticket? Because I was shocked how cheap mine was.
Yes, mine was, wait, what was it? Like $12?
Mine was $12. And I was like, I fully expected this to be $25.
Yes, and I bought all the movie snacks, and I mean, it was like $25. Like, it wasn't crazy. Like, I bought all that stuff. And I
Okay,
was like, and we had leftovers that we took home. Like, it was crazy.
so Halle
Like,
Bell had the best movie experience of her life.
I was like, I'm gonna see all these movies. I was like, I was the stupid person, like, watching the previews, like, we should
We
see
should see
that.
these.
and and I would like I had like gotten up to like the final chapter in the book before I went to the movie, and then I listened to the final chapter on my ride home, and I just had tears streaming down my face because they just captured just that final scene for me was just so
Yeah,
beautiful. The
it was
hospital
so good.
scene, and I listening to it in the book, I'm like, they just really everybody's saying it. It's the best book in a movie in a really long time, and I really feel that. I know you
Wow.
don't, but
No, I
I
love
really
that.
do.
No, I love that you do, and I love that you felt that way. I think
Like, they didn't
no.
change things just to be controversial. Like,
Oh,
okay,
that's what.
Dune 2 is like nothing like the book. Like it's not. And that's okay because it's a good movie, but it's they like literally
Yeah.
included the onesies like in this book like movie. I
Okay.
mean,
But that's
oh,
one
go
of
ahead.
that's one of my gripes about the movie is that they included some things, and I think this was like a directing bit, which I have my highs and lows of the directing, but like why include the onesies and not explain it at all? Why include Ellen and not explain it at all?
I
You
think they're
know?
just nods to the readers. Like I think they just like like
Yeah.
in these types of movies they have to throw bones to the readers because they're the biggest
Yeah.
turnout, but they also
Yeah.
have to make it relatable for people who haven't.
Well,
Like the
yeah.
nods to Ellen. You know, it's just like they don't need
Yeah.
to explain it, but
No.
for the readers will appreciate it. You
Well, see
know?
that was one of the things that I was like, when she's writing Dear Ellen, and then it pans at another part. Who is? Wait, this might be the movie theater calling me. I'm gonna answer it.
Oh, answer live.
Hello,
Hello, is this Michelle?
this is she.
Hi, I'm Savannah. I'm calling from Regal Royal Palm about your keys.
Oh my gosh, did you find them?
Yes, ma'am.
Yay! Oh my gosh, thank you so much. Can I come by tomorrow and get them?
Absolutely. I'm going to write a note with them. It's got a little tag on it that says Subaru Pembroke Pines. Right?
Yeah. Yep. That's it.
Yep, they're here. So you can come by tomorrow and pick them up. I will have them at the service desk with the note attached that you will be picking up.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Hey, have a great day.
You too. Bye.
Bye.
That's a miracle.
I
And
can't
she
believe
was really nice.
now. Thank God I didn't leave that scathing Google review I was going to leave.
This is so crazy how unhelpful people are these days. I
No,
mean, I could go on a whole separate tangent,
No.
but like, that's
Hallie
crazy.
Bell. I was like, I said, can I give you my name and number in case you find them? And she was like, yeah, sure. And me and my friend were
That is
lifting.
so
we
dumb. That's
No.
the bare minimum that you can
We-
do. Can we turn the lights on so we can all look?
yeah,
Like
no,
at the end of the
we had like
movie?
we had deconstructed the theater seats as people were coming in for the next theater or for the next film. And like the new girls coming in to see the next showing were helping me look. Like, come on. Anyway,
That's ridiculous. Anyways,
sorry,
yay,
back,
Michelle.
back to the Ellen thing. Like, I loved it, but it was like, I thought in the book, the bit of Atlas getting her like the signed autobiography was so amazing. And I was like, this must be so weird to the people, because half of the people in our theater had not read the book. I could tell by their reactions.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was
Interesting.
an older crowd and their reactions were not it. But I was like, they must be so confused why Ellen DeGeneres is like suddenly mentioned. And it's just like,
But I think it'll inspire
Why?
people to go back and read the book.
maybe, I hope so. I do.
I hope so too. Like I mean, there is a new wave. Like we talk about all the time of like reading is just like it's way
It's at
of
an all-time high.
people- I think it's at an all-time high just because people are like, I want to disconnect. I don't want to watch a show. I don't want to look at
Yeah.
a screen. I want to read a book. And I think that hopefully it just get more and more readers out there.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
especially for content like this. Like this is just like, oh, I just thought it was so beautiful. Like domestic violence is not over in this country and any
Yeah.
country. Like it's actually the number one crime on this island that my family and I go to called Saba. And the Saba is a Netherlands owned island. And
Is
it's
it?
yes, and it's
Oh,
a
I didn't know that.
beautiful. It's beautiful and
It is
it
beautiful.
seems like a happy place. But there is the number one thing is domestic violence. And I mean, like the number one crime. Like it's like one of the
Yeah.
only crimes that they have there. And I just think it speaks volumes, It's just still such a prevalent issue. And I think a lot of people see violence as like a true beating, like-
Yeah.
and it's just not. It doesn't have to be all the way up to that. It can just be like a simple, or not simple, but like
Yeah.
the bite. That
Yeah.
no one should bite you. Like that
Yeah.
is not normal. No one
Do
should
you-
do anything physical to you like that.
Do you do you think that the movie should, like, I know that this isn't the first movie that has ever talked about domestic violence, but do you think it should have had a trigger warning? Because, well, you go first and then I'll debate.
Well, I saw it with my mother-in-law, so I was a little nervous because the book is like
Very
R-rated.
descriptive. No, the
It's
book
very
is R
descriptive.
rated.
And I was glad that it wasn't super sexual because I felt like it
Yeah.
would have been distracting to the actual violence. And
For sure.
I'm really super glad that they replayed it from Ryle's POV.
That was one of the coolest things when she says, I'm an unreliable narrator, and then the clips from her perspective are blurry. That was
Yes.
cool. That was cool.
And it really, because you don't think of Lily as an unreliable narrator, and then you're like, no, yeah, she is. Like,
Yeah, she is.
You can't trust, if we were looking this from objectively from an outsider, if she had let her friend, in from the beginning, maybe she could have heard that story sooner, given him that second chance and been out before they got married. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
Yeah.
it just, I don't
See,
know.
we all decided, like, at work before seeing the movie, we were like, it should be rated R based on the book. It should be rated R. It should be rated R. And like, I feel
interesting.
well, I feel very, very passionately about this book and the trigger warning, the lack thereof trigger warnings, because I'm not even being dramatic. The first time I read this book, I threw up at one point because I was just like, it was so traumatizing to me. And
I'm
we
glad it makes
decided,
you feel that way too. Like it's very
yeah, no, it's
nauseating. I
hard.
think because we haven't, I mean, been directly exposed to domestic violence. Like I know of people that have had domestic violence experiences, but I don't, I've never experienced it firsthand. So it to me, it's just like, oh my gosh, like it's just so
Yeah.
like, whoa, like I can't
Yeah.
believe this. But I've had family that has had domestic violence incidences, and I can't imagine what this movie means to them.
Yeah. Well,
and
yeah.
and then and then making it not so sexy. Like I just,
It was,
it's
yeah.
it's very intense, and they have those building moments just to, I think, just to establish the love
The
between
love.
her and Ryle, and like,
Yeah.
the infatuation, and there is lust. And then, it just all when he like makes her read that newspaper, and it even
Oh,
shows like it's not just physical, it's
yeah.
verbal, make
Yeah.
forcing her, and she says, I don't want to.
I don't
And
want
he's
to
like, read it. And
read
she's like,
it.
I don't want to. Like, she has like
Yeah.
expressed what she doesn't want to do it. And that
Yeah.
should be the end of the conversation.
Yeah. That was, yeah. I felt after the movie, I was like, okay, I don't think it needed to be rated R. Like, I'm fine with PG-13 with a trigger warning at the beginning of the movie, because if you didn't read this book, it was advertised as a rom-com, not a rom-com, as a romance, like a love story. Like there are so many clips of Blake Lively literally calling it a love story. And I'm like, some people
But
who
it,
don't watch the trailer are going into this like having no clue. And like
I know this sounds
yeah.
bad, but I hope it does trick some people to going in and seeing it, because
Wow.
if you know it's about domestic violence and you're experiencing domestic violence, you're not going to go see it. You know
That's
what I
a
mean?
no, that's a
And
great point.
or if your mother's experienced it, or your sister, or somebody close to you, you don't want to go and watch it. And then, but
Yeah.
I know that's bad, but like I just think like sometimes
No,
that like a movie can, I think it didn't cross a line to where it would like offend anyone, but it would make
no.
people turn their wheels and think, hey, you know what? A bite, or a
The word, yeah.
accidental hit, or push down the
Was it
stairs.
accidental? Yeah.
And it's like she's the scene where she's like putting on that concealer again. I just started to bawl, because she's just like, here I
Yeah.
am with and like concealer for women of domestic violence is like such a triggering thing. And
Yeah.
I just love that they incorporated that, like just the holding of the concealer and dabbing it on her eye. She's like, here
Yeah.
we are again. It was just really beautifully done, I thought.
Yeah. Man, I have so many things I want to say, but this would go on all night.
I
This would
know,
literally
I'm
last
sorry.
for hours. No, no, no. One of the parts that I like
Mm.
really missed out on, and I think at some point, like the relationship I was in college was a very, very horrible. And I had something very similar. Do you remember the journal scene in It Ends With Us where Ryle
Yes.
takes all of her journals and just like literally that exact same thing happened to me. It's not funny. I shouldn't laugh. But I completely forgot about it because I read this book like 2 years ago. And that was one of the things also with the Dear Ellen that I was like, oh, I can't believe they left out the journal, like him making her like making fun of and reading her journals and just like, because that's another like form of abuse that isn't physical. You know what I mean? And
Invasion of
that was like,
privacy.
oh my God. Like literally
And
thinking about that is making my heart race.
oh my gosh, because she blames herself in the book that she wasn't forthcoming with her past relationship with Atlas. And I think in a normal relationship, it would be uncovered, and you would talk
Yeah.
about it. But I don't think that this is a normal relationship. Like,
Mm-mm.
I don't think Ryle is very conceited, and I don't think that there were moments for her to feel comfortable to even
To
talk
even
about
tell him.
Atlas
To tell,
and
yeah.
her. Yeah, she in the movie she's like, "Are you happy?" And she tells him that her mother was a domestic, assault
Yeah.
survivor, and I I don't think that that is real for the characters in the book, because I
Yeah.
don't think that there was an opportunity for book Lily to have that conversation with Ryle. But movie Lily, I think that they show enough love and like more
Mm-hmm.
carefree side. I don't know. Like
Yeah.
they're different lilies for me.
I
But
agree. No,
I don't know.
this is like the true definition of like an adaptation because it's not the
Yeah.
exact same. It's never gonna be the exact same. And like,
They
I
just
think
couldn't make a movie of this
no.
book, like word for word, and they just don't, people. And that's what I want to say that like that just bothers me so bad when people are like, why didn't they do? And it's like, because
Yeah.
it's a
Because they
movie. It's a
because they
different
can't.
artistic representation of a piece of work. You know, like it's
Okay.
not going to be line for line, or else we would be there for like 24 hours. It would be
Which I
like a
would have
long.
loved. I would have loved.
I
Okay,
do
wait.
wish that they would do stuff like that, but
Can we
they
talk
don't.
about no, can we talk about the directing like thought? I want to know your thoughts because I have gripes and highs that I wrote.
Okay, about the drama.
No, about like
Oh,
the actual like recording. So, well, some like one of the things I wrote for the gripes, which we already talked about, was like the birth was so realistic, and like my friend Tristan, that was her line I took. She said, "Who TF offered up their baby to be smothered in petroleum jelly?" Because that was like a real newborn baby. Like that was crazy. And then the scene, I went to the bathroom, but Tristan told me the scene where Atlas says, "If you find yourself in a position to love again, love me." He like whispers it and says it so quick. And that is one of the most profound like lines in the book. And it's like, you miss it. It was so
I
quick.
I kind
Everyone
of love
missed it.
that. I want to rewatch this movie, obviously, because I felt like the dialogue and the cadence in which it was said was just really akin to real life. Like, again, some of
Yeah,
the lines in
yeah,
the book are so strong and they are cheesy.
they're
And,
so
you know,
cheesy.
and the way that they were able to deliver them with like just an authenticity that I wasn't expecting, just like some of the whispers and how like
Yeah,
after the scene where they're like, it's not like line for line like in a book. Like
for sure.
I'm sure they're talking over each other, like when she the casserole scene. And they're
Yeah.
like, it's fine, I love you, it's fine. Like it just was so real. I was like, oh my
Oh,
gosh,
see,
like this is, and he's like, are you okay, baby? Are you okay? And like, or like when she's running out after him, when she about to get pushed
yeah,
down the stairs, and she's like,
yeah.
baby, wait, like it's just like all
Okay.
these little things that I like that
That
seems
was
really real.
That was one of my gripes. I said, why is she calling him baby every 5 seconds? It was making it unrealistic for me because I was like,
I
no
think
way
it's
Blake
because
Lively calls Ryan Reynolds baby every five
I think
seconds.
she does.
But I don't
Well,
know.
I call Greg June. June is
You
like
call him
my
June.
nickname, and I say June like probably like 500 times a day. Like
You
I
do.
am
You say you
shameless.
do.
It's not baby, but I mean like he'll call me baby, or we call each other
He
Toonie,
he calls you
and
Toonie.
we
I'm
have
gonna ask
really weird
Felipe.
nicknames.
What do I Felipe? What do I call you?
He's like
Uh,
Felipe.
yeah, he's like, you don't talk to me. No, but
No, if you're a lovey-dovey couple, it's just not. I just could see myself. I could see myself in it. Like
yeah,
pet
yeah.
names are for, whoever, but like
I
anyways,
have like
I just
my
love those little bits.
No, Danielle has gotten on to us. She's like, it's so annoying how every sentence you're like, babe, can you go do that? Babe, can you go do that? And I'm like, I feel like I don't do that. But then hearing Blake Lively do it, I'm like, oh God, that's annoying. I hope it's not me. Anywho, I wrote I wrote two things for the director highs. One of which was
Oh
the
yeah,
why? Why is it doing that with the balloons?
I don't
Anyway,
like it.
I don't like it. My first one was that the soundtrack was just phenomenal.
Oh my
When
gosh.
Bon Iver came on, I got goosebumps.
I
We were all
cannot.
singing.
Oh my gosh. And just it was such a beautiful movie. Like the color palette and the
It was
flower
really vibey.
store.
Okay, do you think that the flower store was portrayed like correctly?
Um, you know, they say like she gets like old antique boots and puts flowers in them and stuff. And she has like some antiques around there. But I really thought it was like a beautiful
I
store.
did
Like it
too.
would definitely be a store that I would go in. And
Wait,
how they had like those grape looking flowers that were like
yeah.
hanging down, and it looked a lot like the flower store. And I'm wondering if flower stores are getting inspiration from this book and movie, because it looks a lot like a new flower store in Chattanooga, Tennessee, that's
Ooh,
like um kind of make your own bouquet place, but
I
they
love
also do
that.
like specialty flowers and of course wedding flowers and stuff.
Huh.
And it's more dark. Like they use like black backgrounds and like
I love
more
that.
like
Wait,
vibey
this is so hysterical.
colors.
I
Oh, yeah.
looked it up. The book club that I think they're Australian, and I'm sure they're not listening to this, but it's called the Shameless Book Club. And one of their biggest gripes with the book, and this was before the movie, with the book, they were like, this flower shop is so unrealistic. They're like, who would go into this flower shop? And they were like, if you're listening and you like these flowers and would go into this flower shop, like, please let us know. And I was like, I would. Like, this is my dream flower shop.
And that's just people being negative to be negative though. Like I'm the first one to have a gripe. But
You are. That's true.
I'm a generally positive person. Like I always do try to find the positive, but like when it is something, I usually have like a good reason. Like there's just no good reason. Like it's just like more like these flowers aren't for me. Not like, well, if you go into this flower store, you're a piece of trash. Like what?
Like that's what they were saying. They were like, these flowers
People are like that online.
No, and that's what they were saying. They were like, these flowers just like aren't for us because the flowers themselves were described as being like black roses and like dark purple flowers when flowers are supposed to be like light and beautiful and whatever. And I just thought it was
purple though.
I thought it was hysterical.
They are.
I was like, those are for me. Like that's what I want. I want the vines and the dark flowers in my home.
Hangings and how she had like the color that she was adding to the water. Like I thought it was such a beautiful.
It was
and
cool.
I thought especially when it was abandoned, it was exactly how I pictured it in the book with the newspaper and the old help wanted sign. Like I just and it's Newberry Street. If you haven't visited Boston, then like I feel like you're not understanding what an old shop looks like in Boston. Like it's not like in the middle of nowhere. Like
yeah.
Or like in a rundown street. Like Boston is
like,
really nice.
People are walking by. People are like, people are coming
it's like
in.
a hobnobby. Like Newberry Street is like a multi-million-dollar street. Like millionaires and billionaires live on that street.
Yeah.
So it's just to me, I was just like, I don't know.
See,
I just feel like people are griping to gripe a lot.
It's us though.
I know, but
we have good reason.
If I have something to gripe about, I have like a reason.
Yeah, you back it up. You cite your sources. Now, I thought that Ryle's apartment and like their apartment, I was like, this is exactly how it should look. This is perfect.
Yes.
This is it to a T.
And the rooftop, I was like, the rooftop was just like, and I love that they added some humor because this is such a serious thing. And I just felt like it was just the comedic relief you need to survive this movie. And in life, there are serious moments and there are funny moments. You know what I mean? And there are funny moments in the serious, like when at her father's funeral, I was just like,
oh my gosh.
They don't even have that scene in the book. It's just like a retelling to Ryle. And I was so glad that they had like the actual scene because I was like, this is exactly how I pictured it. Like,
like it's full. Like, he's a mayor. Yeah.
I don't have anything to say.
She's like, I have nothing. I have absolutely nothing to say here.
I love that. And I wish they would have included Ryle's line of like, he's like, you roasted your father?
Yes. I liked that. I like that a lot. I love
that line in the bock. But there was a funny line where, or like when they're going back and forth and she's like, oh, wait, I just realized you really are a neurosurgeon.
She's just laughing. And she's like, it just hit me.
Everyone in the theater was laughing during that scene. Like everybody liked it.
My favorite part, when was it? It was when he said, she was like, just tell me what you want. And he was like, I just want to have sex with you. This old woman, like 3 seats down, was like, I told you.
I told you.
And we were like, yeah, you told us.
I think this is what do you agree? I think this is a movie you could see with your mom.
Oh, 100%. I would love to watch it with my mom because I'm sure she would have like no good thoughts on it because she's never experienced anything bad in her life. That's not true. I shouldn't say that. But I think she would be like, oh, what a wonderful little film. And I texted you and I was like, oh my God, how was it? I want to know. And you didn't answer.
Because I just didn't want to be like, I loved it because I knew you didn't like it. But like
No, I meant
I
specifically
was like
going with
having
Denise, your mother-in-law.
oh, I was nervous because I was like, this is a sexy book, and then we had the best time. Like we
Yeah, it
literally
was.
had the best time.
Yeah, I'm glad because Colleen Hoover, like, I don't think she writes spice well, but like it hooks you. That's like what she's known for is like kind of like young adult spice in a way. And I'm glad that they took it out because it was unnecessary to the plot,
Yeah. And the
like you said
party
earlier.
scene, I wish that they would have included where he carries her over the shoulder. Because that is
Hmm.
like always, that's like one of my favorite scenes in the book when he's just, and the photo of Lily in the apartment. That was another
Yeah,
thing that would have been really cool for the movie. But it would have been like
yeah,
hard to be like natural, being like, let me take your photo in the movie. Like, I don't know. Like, in the book, it's really
yeah.
beautifully written, but I think like acting it out would have been like a
It
little weird.
would.
But the symbolism of like hanging the photo up and her discovering the photo is like one of my favorite parts of the book.
It's one of my favorite parts of the book is him
Yeah.
going to every single door and knocking. And I was so mad but it also like, it would give me such an ick when he was like, "What unit are you?" And he like hadn't even asked her name at that. Like, go no, go knock on every single door like you did in the book. Like that was
I
cute, and
think
it would have taken 2 seconds.
and I just think it's so like Ryle, like as an outsider, like I mean, everybody in the movie was swooning for him. Like, and it's like
Yeah,
I think that people are like, well, how could she like people oftentimes are like, how do you even end up with somebody like that? And it's
you
just like
don't. That's
it
not who you
happened.
initially end up. Yeah,
It just is not how it happens. And like Ryle is a neurosurgeon. He's beautiful. He's really sweet. He's a good uncle. He's a good
he has
brother.
a
Like,
yeah, he's a good brother. He's got a good family. Like, oh, that was another thing. His parents weren't included at all
yeah.
in the
And,
movie.
and
They
I
didn't need to be.
when I was re-listening, I was just kind of like, they kind of make it even more like a little bit of like, this doesn't really work for the plot. Like
Yeah.
how they're involved in the baby and like I
Hmm.
don't know, like it just didn't really like feel like it worked for the plot, but I'm glad that they didn't include it in
Yeah.
the movie.
What were your thoughts and like overall thoughts on Atlas? But first, did you think that the actor who played Atlas kind of looked exactly like my brother?
Yes,
Thank you.
I literally was like, it's Wes. And
I
but
agree completely.
no offense, Wes, but like a dreamier version of you.
No offense, Madeline.
No offense, Madeline or Wes, but let's just be honest.
No, at one point, I pulled up a picture of him and my brother, and I zoomed in and I was like, I made the people look around. I was like, look, that's the same. Like his
Yeah,
mannerisms, I was like, that is my brother. But I
it
really like
really
that actor.
is.
I'm not familiar with him. He did a great
I'm not
job.
familiar with him, but he is like one of those like okay, do you remember that Country Strong movie with like Gwyneth
I haven't
Paltrow and Leighton
I
Meester?
haven't seen any movies. This is the
Okay,
first one
well,
I've seen in years.
I know you don't watch movies, but
And when I do, I fall asleep.
he was just one of those like oh he like gets your heart right away like his eyes and you can just tell he's a sweet soul
Yeah.
and he was the perfect Atlas and like
Yeah.
the younger Atlas I just wanted when he's wearing the shirt and they like
Uh,
make it
from her dad.
okay I can't even say it, like they're like making jokes at each other about how each other looks funny and she's like you look like a carrot and
Yeah.
they just captured their awkwardness and like just that childhood love so well. Like,
Hmm.
and they're joking while they're getting ready to be intimate. They're like, she's like, I've never done this before, and he goes, I've only done it once. Like they're like
Yeah.
confessing this like in the moment, and it's just so like cringy, cute, sweet.
17-year-old. Yeah.
Oh, they just got it.
Yeah.
And
Do you
and
wish there would have been no go?
one scene that I really wish was in the movie was the poker boys.
Yeah, I
And
know.
this is my clue that they're probably not going to do a sequel because like they're a huge part of the sequel, like the friends, like Atlas's friends. And
Yeah.
so and like seeing her like I was just kind of like I guess they're not going to do a sequel because they're
Nope.
really
Yeah.
a part of it. So,
No, but I think they are. And after this next question, I think we should talk about the drama in the
okay.
directors. But do you think there should have been more of her and Atlas, like in this
No,
movie?
because No, because in the book it's not. It's about her and Ryle,
Yeah.
and really, and it starts with us. I just restarted it today.
Oh
I'm
my
like, wow,
gosh.
you're really getting to know Atlas in this book.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like you're really, because you don't really know him except you know the childhood version of him, and you know like a little bit about him as an adult. But like, it starts with us is like Atlas's
That's
story.
their
So
story. Yeah.
I really liked how minimal his role was because it was
Yeah.
true to the book.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah.
Oh, and when the fight scene in the restaurant, I want to talk about that.
It was
It
so
was
good.
just so intense and good. I was like, and the acting was just
Yeah.
like bubbling over with it. Like you could just see the anger. Like it was just really phenomenal.
Yeah.
That's like the
Yeah.
best fight scene in a movie I've seen in a long time. Like
Wow. Now
it
that's a
was really
hot
good.
take, Hallie Bell.
I just felt like the punch, the way, like
It,
whoever
it felt
choreographed it,
realistic.
it
Yeah.
felt really realistic. And how Blake Lively's trying to like intercede, and she's like,
Mm-hmm.
"Stop!" She does like one last like, "You stop."
Get away.
I was
Yeah.
like, "That's so me."
Yeah. It is. It's like you can't really do much, but you're gonna have the last word.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You like, well, it's just kind of like everyone's in a tussle, and then everything calms down, and you're like, "Stop!"
Just to remind him.
Just a reminder.
Oh my gosh. No, but I was gonna say
Oh yeah.
I think they're doing a sequel because I've been hearing a lot of rumors about the whole directing thing. If you don't know, like Justin and Blake and Colleen are all in this big who's,
Here's the thing.
who's who. But I've heard that like because Blake and Ryan invested so much into this movie, they thought that they got more of a say than they should have. And Justin was one of the directors. And there were a couple scenes where Blake and Ryan Reynolds argued. They were like, we should have creative control over this scene. So Justin would write it, and then Blake and Ryan would write it, and they tested it on audiences. And Justin's got most majority favored. And then for the second, Justin comes forward and he's like, I do think Blake should be more of a director for the second movie because that's more her style, whereas this one was more mine. So I don't know.
Here's the thing. I think people are trying to pit them against each other.
Why? Yeah, I don't think it's
But
that deep.
I don't think it's that deep, and here's why. I think that these are all adults. Blake is really happy in her life, and
Mhm.
Justin seems really happy in his life,
Yeah.
and they are disagreeing at work, but it's not running so deep where there's like, I hate you. Like I just
No,
don't
and
think it's that. I think
Blake Lively would never hate someone like that.
she doesn't. She is, I mean, watching some interviews. I mean, of course, I don't know her personally, but watching her
Feels
interviews,
like we do.
people really do like her. And I mean, I definitely think she's Hollywood, and she's probably a little full of herself, probably a
Yeah.
lot of full of herself. I mean, although people
Don't
say
get me
she's really
started.
grounded, but it's okay. It's okay, But like Justin Baldoni, I think he's really unconventional for Hollywood because he is
Totally.
like his Jane the Virgin cast loves him, and they support him, and I love the people of the Jane the Virgin cast. I think I love that show.
Yeah.
I didn't watch all the seasons, but like those first two seasons are so good. Um, and here's the thing, I just think it's like a conflict I think it's like it's just a conflict at work. Like I don't think that it's
Yeah.
like they're getting lawyers involved or whatever. It was creative
No.
differences, and I think that they shine in different moments. Like I think Justin Baldoni is a warrior for domestic violence,
Women.
like I mean, and women in general.
Yeah.
And his wife and him celebrate each other, and like everyone's like, oh, there's
I
gonna be
love
something
him.
bad coming out about him. I'm like, there won't be.
You couldn't make
I
me
just
hate him. I'm sorry.
You just can't. And I don't think he has nothing but nice things to say about
That's
Blake, and
yeah.
she has nothing but nice things to say about him. Like it's just like
Yeah. See, I have a conspiracy that this is all like part of the PR because it's like obviously the book and the movie are about what they're about. And so I have this conspiracy that someone started this rumor as PR and it just blew up and it's working. Like we're sitting here talking about it.
I think
But
Justin would address it head on. I just think that's who
yeah,
he is because
I agree.
and I think Blake would too. I think she would be like, everyone's like pulling
Yeah.
that clip where the one where Elisa is like evading answering, and I'm like, she's not really evading. She's like, what
It's
a
just
hard job. He
it's just
was
not her
really
play. Yeah.
stressed. I
Yeah,
think he
that's
was
it.
really stressed in the making of this movie. He said he would literally have to go to a bathroom
Yeah.
and cry and shake to get Ryle out of him because he is just not Ryle. And like,
Yeah.
I think he's just so different. And I think that it really, if you're a method actor, which I think that he probably is,
Yeah.
and so is Blake. I think she's a method actress. Like, she like
Yeah.
takes these works. They both take their work really seriously, and I think that it shows in this movie. And I'm just grateful that they did it, and that
No,
even
me
if they had
too.
differences at work, that they are being such grown-ups, and nobody wants them to be. And that's
Yeah.
like really frustrating.
Yeah. One thing that I don't love, and everyone who knows me knows I'm not a Ryan Reynolds fan. I can't say that enough, but I don't like that Blake, the differences in how they're publicizing. It felt like they were in a boardroom and they said, "Okay, team, here's the talk track for this book. Here's the talk track. Here's what you're supposed to say." And they weren't hearing the same thing at all. And I like Blake Lively, I haven't heard her say one thing about like domestic violence except for her saying like I'm not like I don't experience that in my relationship, but like I'm here to play Lily. Whereas Justin is like, this is a movie for the women, and he's very straightforward in making sure that the PR is like publicized towards domestic violence. And
But
it's just
she
crazy the difference.
But she's getting people in the door, and
Yeah,
and I think
that's
that she
true.
realized that is her role. She is, and I think she's a way deeper person than people think. She likes clothes and makeup, but we all know women can like clothes and makeup and be
Yeah.
badasses. But
Yeah.
I just think she knows her role. She's gonna wear a million different outfits to get as many people in the door to see the movie so they can make as much
Yeah.
money as possible so
Because
that
her
they
and Ryan
can.
are investors.
Yeah,
No, I get what you're saying though.
I would be doing the same thing if I were in
For
her
sure.
position. Like, she's a businesswoman, and like everyone's like giving her a hard time about releasing her hair care
That's
line.
what I was
And
I
I'm
was
like,
just gonna say. I was gonna nag
and
on
I
it.
was just like, they are
Give her a
having a
break.
big moment for their family. Like, can people
Yeah.
just like realize that? Like, this is a big moment for their family. There's a lot of work things colliding, and I'm sure she was advised to do it in this way. And by her team. And I think that
Yeah.
she's just a businesswoman. Like, get off. She doesn't have to be a saint.
Who cares? I do have a gripe with the hair care being so prominent right now because like I think she should be talking about the movie more than the hair care. But my
But she
upset,
is. She has been at
she is.
every event.
No, she is. But
And
my
Justin hasn't been at every event.
no, and that's where I'm like, what happened? Like, why is he not there? But my big upset is that it's this big hair care line. And I'll say it, her hair in the movie is it's not good and it's not hers. And so
Oh,
it's like now right now when you're looking up Blake Lively hair care and pictures of her hair from It Ends With Us, like no, I want to see her hair from like Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants. Like
oh
that's
my
what I
gosh.
think of Blake Lively's hair. You know
I
what I
love her
mean?
hair in that, but I do
She
love
rocks a
her.
redhead.
I love that color of
I do
hair that
too.
she has in the movie. And I was like, could I wear that? Like, I was literally like, anything that Blake Lively does, I want to be. Like when
You're
she
like,
was
can
in
I try?
Sisterhood of
Oh,
the Traveling Pants, I'm like, I'm Serena, or
you're like,
I'm
I'm Serena.
whatever her name is.
What is her
And then when
name
she's a
though?
Gossip Girl, you want to be Serena.
You want to
When
be
she's
Serena?
in, what is the other movie?
I've never seen any of it. Like, I'm not. wh-
Oh,
What
I
is the
can't remember
one?
the other
No,
one. But
what's the one she
anyways,
did recently? I don't know. No, I hear you.
she's like an it girl, and she
She
knows
is
she
through
is.
and
And
through.
she's beautiful, but I just loved hearing like all the other girls on the cast were like, Blake styled me, and I love how
Yeah,
I look. And I just think that's so sweet. And she like had pulled dresses for like all of the girls for the
yeah,
movie premiere. And she on the Kelly and Ryan show, she like had the little Lily come, and like she was like, this is the next big thing. Like, she's just
yeah.
constantly,
She's
how
a girl's
Colleen
girl,
Hoover
I
says, like,
think.
she's a girl's girl. And I think that Justin Baldoni and her probably just have different lives.
Yeah, no, 100% they do. But I do want to know why they didn't take any pictures together. And like, I want to know what happened. I don't think it's them. I think it's him and Ryan.
I
Sorry.
think you're right. I think you're right. Like I don't really know Ryan Reynolds. I saw him in that
Ugh.
movie with where he's like playing the computer guy. Like he's like a
Oh,
guy
I'm
in a
not
computer
sure.
game. It's
Oh,
a really good movie. It's like really interesting.
huh.
But I'm like trying to think of what else I know him from. Like
Like, I
I
love
know I've seen his
Deadpool.
face.
I
I
like
haven't
Deadpool, but
watched any of the Deadpool, but
I think I like it because he's wearing a mask.
yeah, he's not hot to me, for
Ugh.
sure.
He's not
Like
anything to me.
he's not hot to me, but I think Blake could do better physically. But I mean, they must have something for each other. Like they fell in love
Yeah,
and they have beautiful children, and like anybody that's like promoting that and like a sound family in Hollywood, I'm like
that's,
behind because I'm
yeah.
just like there's so many broken homes and like they're like I saw this like clip of where it's like no one comes home from work quicker than Ryan.
I
Like
did
he
see
is like
that. That was cute.
bursting in the door like
Like, he's
in
excited to come
makeup
home. Yeah.
and costumes like just to get home to the family, and it reminds me of Greg. And like he's literally coming off, he literally like clocks out and walks downstairs and is like hair's a mess, like
Yeah.
he's like in the family, like
Yeah.
back in the thing. So I really do like that, and I'm never gonna like put down someone who is like trying to promote like
Yeah.
healthy family
Yeah. That's a great point. I love that.
lifestyle. So
I love that.
I don't know, I really like that, and I'm really trying to convince Greg to see it on Tuesday for our date night.
I think
I
he
think
would.
I think it's really important to take guys to see this movie because it's just like
Uh-huh.
they are part of how the solution is going to happen. Like other men raising men. Like I
Mm-hmm.
want my boys to see this
Yeah.
movie because and read this book because it's a really hard read, but you know, men are the number one. They are more than
Yeah.
women domestic violators.
Yeah. Did you see the clip of one of Justin's interviews? I say Justin like we're friends. I'm like, did you see Justin? Um,
Justin. Yeah.
but did you see the clip where he's like, if he's like, I hope that girls are taking like their male friends and their boyfriends to this movie. And he said, if you see even a little bit of Ryle in yourself, like I hope it's an awakening. And I hope this movie does that for the male viewers. And I was like, wow,
I love that
love that.
because it is like you men are, more inclined to be more macho and like, you know,
Yeah.
over their women and stuff like, and it's just like this is not our culture anymore.
No,
Men and
yeah,
women
sit
are
down.
equal. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Couldn't make me hate him.
no.
I don't know.
I love him and I love this movie.
I
Why did
did.
you think it was boring?
No, I didn't think it was
You
bored.
texted me that it was
Uh,
boring.
was that when I went to the bathroom? Probably.
Yes. And I texted Michelle, I said, get back in there and watch some
Get back
movie.
in the. I literally had their small slushies are like this big around, and I was like bursting at the seams. So I was like, I have to pick a bad scene to go to the bathroom. But I didn't think it was necessarily boring. I was just like, I think as a reader, I was like waiting for like the scenes that I really loved. I was sitting
Yeah.
there waiting for them and they didn't happen, which is fine. It's fine that
Yeah.
they picked and chose what to put in. But I think Blake Lively, like, and you're gonna disagree, I think she kind of has like a really deadpan face. And so there were
Mm.
some
I
scenes where
did
I was
think
like, I
she
want more out of her.
I think
Like,
she had a little too much Botox. And I don't want to bash because this is her postpartum body and she
oh,
was
she's
probably just
gorgeous. Yeah.
she's just trying to look her best and I get it.
Yeah.
But the Botox in her forehead, it did do
You
a disservice to her acting because I
to her
did felt like that
acting.
to the anguish, especially when
Yeah.
she is at Atlas's house.
That's what
I
yeah.
felt she did look disgruntled, but I think that she could have been a little bit more in anguish.
I agree. And that was again a great part of the book to me was it was very well written. Like she is at Atlas's house for 10 days, kind of mourning her relationship. And
Yeah,
in the
and
movie,
hiding.
yeah, and hiding. And in the movie that was so washed over. Like she's just sitting on his couch like a girlfriend, just watching TV. And I'm like, I want some
But she
emotion from
does
her here.
eventually do that. But
Yeah.
yeah, those scenes where she's like, I want to wash the taste of scotch out of my mouth. I want to wash my body. And she takes several showers,
Yeah.
which I think for me is so relatable because anytime I feel any kind of negative emotion, I want to get in the shower.
You do,
And it's
yeah.
because my mom, when we were kids, like if we didn't feel good, my mom would say, why don't you go rinse off?
Yeah.
And I'm just a rinse off girly. Like I'm like, if I can just rinse off, I will feel better.
Every hour. Yeah.
Every hour. If I could take 3 showers a day, like if you know me, when my husband and I went on our post year, when our children turn 1, we go on a vacation. And
Happy birthday.
For Wally's 1-year-old vacation, I literally just I just took showers. I was like, it feels so nice
Yeah. Yeah.
to have it on, and it's just how I decompress. And so I really connected with that in the book when she's like, I got in
Yeah.
the shower. I got in the shower, and it is kind of like her thing. Like she references it several times in the book. Like she's like, I'm gonna go rinse off. Like I need to
Mhm. Yeah.
decompress.
Yeah. Should we talk about Colleen Hoover? I just have like a couple things to say.
I don't have much to say about her because I'm
Perfect.
not okay, yeah, so you take it away.
Well, no, I don't remember this. I don't think this was my first book by Colleen Hoover, but I have read most of her books, and she
Hmm.
has like over 20 published. And so I feel like I've written a lot of them, but a couple things that I wrote down that I thought you would
Okay.
enjoy. I wrote this for your
Oh
benefit.
yeah. Oh good.
She was a self-publisher,
I love
which
when
is
you do
huge
things for me.
for me. Self-publisher. That's huge.
That's huge.
Okay.
That's huge.
She was a social worker, and I'm not the biggest fan of her personally. There's been a lot of ick and drama around her as a person, which I don't love, but when
What
her
is that?
well, I didn't want to say
I
it,
don't
but
know it.
well, there was a big thing for a while about one of her sons. She's a boy mom, and one of her sons had a not an altercation. Something happened with him and a minor, and she was very publicly like he didn't do anything wrong. He's a good boy, and we were like, no, he did something wrong. Like, get a grip. But I don't know the full story, and who knows how if she handled it well. I don't know. He didn't assault her or anything. It was just like very inappropriate text with a minor. Like, I don't know. So who's to
You
say? I
can't
just don't.
control your son,
No,
and you're
you
always going to
can't.
stick up for your son.
You are. I just think she needs a better PR team, maybe. Maybe
Yeah,
I
'cause
should
she's
do
a
her PR.
mom.
Yeah,
She's really real. I mean, her books.
she is. So
Yeah.
her very first book was
Oh, good.
Slammed, which is one of my favorite. It's so cute. It's like it's adorable.
Really?
That was one of her first books. And it's about slam poetry. And she like comes forward and she like self-publishes and she's getting the reviews back. I think I heard this on one of the podcasts I listened to. And she's like seeing the reviews in there because she marketed it as poetry. And all of these reviews were like, this is a romance. This isn't poetry. And she's like, well, I've never read a romance. Is this a romance? And they were like, yeah, she had never read a romance. Is that crazy?
That is
You
crazy.
you should read that book. It's not the best of hers by any means, but it's really cute. Yeah,
I want to read it. I'm
you should.
really like
And
ready
it's
to go down the rabbit hole.
oh, I'll make you a list. And the best part about that book is that the second book is rewritten completely from the guy's perspective. So you get
Oh,
both. Yeah.
oh, that was one thing that Jenna said that could have been a good cinematic added to this movie
Okay, Jenna.
was was a flash forward of what her life would have been like if she had stayed with Ryle. Like a
Ooh,
like a clip of like a birthday party or something like that of like what that decision would have been like. And
man.
I was like, Jenna, that would have been really good, like how she avoided that path.
Yeah, because we obviously
I
know how she ends up with Atlas. That would have been a good point. Good job,
It could
Jenna.
have been I know, I was like, it could have been a really good movie point. So anyway,
Yeah. Huh, that's interesting.
anyways, that was just a side tangent.
Yeah. Wow, I love that. I'm gonna make you a list of I'm gonna rank my Colleen Hoover books
I can't
and
wait.
give them to you. Well, she's got a couple thrillers that are really good, but for everyone listening, Reminders of Him and November 9 are my favorites by her. But her thrillers are really good
Yeah.
too.
I can't wait to read them. I really want to read Verity now because
Oh,
I'm
you
like
have
I
to.
feel like I feel like I'm at a good distance to read
Y-
it.
You're in a good headspace. And I think that's what I told you. I was like, I don't think you're in the right headspace to read Verity right now.
No, I just don't
Way
think
back
while
when.
you're having I read the first page because I was like, oh no. And
Mm-mm.
then I was like, oh no.
Oh no. Oh
No,
no.
no, this is not for me.
It's really cute. Like she gets a lot of hate, but she really is like the reason I like fell back in love with reading. So props to Colleen Hoover. I think she's an
I,
easy read.
okay, I'm just so glad this conversation went so much better than I thought it was gonna go.
For
I
everyone
just feel
listening, we dreaded getting on the phone tonight.
I I have been like literally like, what am I gonna say to her? It's like literally like someone posting the opposite political party of what you are, and you're gonna be like, I don't know what I'm going to say.
I I didn't say anything except for that it was a bad movie.
You said, and I just don't think that's your real opinion. No? You
No, I
are a
think
clickbaity girl.
I am. I think cinematically, like the visuals were fine. I think the characters or the cast, it wasn't my favorite. That's I didn't like it. And I just think it could have been a lot better. That's it.
Just as a from the book. But I think that they're just married well.
Well,
So like if you listen to the book now that you've watched the movie, I think that you'll find they couple together really
yeah.
well.
Well, and that like one of my big gripes was I just felt like if you hadn't read the book, the movie, I was very torn. I was like, there are some parts of this where I was like, you had to have read the book to see this movie. And then there were other parts where I'm like, okay, you could get by without reading the book. So I really want to talk to someone. I know a couple of my coworkers who haven't read the book went and saw it yesterday.
Oh.
So I really want to talk to them and get their opinions, but
Oh, let me know.
I think I would have significantly loved this movie more if it wasn't Blake Lively, and I'm sorry.
I think, but you have beef because of Ryan Reynolds, right?
I have
That
this
doesn't make any sense.
no, but it's also her. Like I just I don't know. I'm not the biggest fan of her, and it goes back to her Botox. I just thought I wanted more out of her acting, and it just wasn't.
I just
My
felt she was so authentic.
I
Like
know.
she had just those little whispers of dialogue that just felt so real to me. And
Mm-hmm.
I just loved, again, I'm just gonna say it again. I just love the edit of like her not like confronting Ryle like and being like,
Yeah.
you do this again. Because women just, I mean, some women do, but I think the majority are like, okay,
Yeah.
I don't know what that was, but I'm ready to move on, and
Yeah.
I think that that was like her character. She knows in the back of her mind,
Mm-hmm.
and then she's like faced with he actually bit me.
Yeah.
There's no denying that.
Wait, I have one more difference question
Oh
to
yeah.
ask you. What did you think about in the book? She calls Atlas and she's like, it happened or whatever. And he comes and picks her up. Whereas in the movie, she shows up at his work in the kitchen, sopping wet. Thoughts? I liked
Um,
it. I thought it was cool that she like ran to his restaurant and was like, but also like kind
Honestly,
of,
more
I
realistic than him showing up while Ryle is still there at the
don't
house and him
no,
like texting
a
at the
hundred,
door. Like, I
a
was
hundred
so
percent.
nervous during that part of the book.
Well, and also it was unrealistic in the book because Ryle just found his phone number in in like on the back of the phone or whatever. Like, unless she had previously saved his number, like, how did she get that number back from Ryle? It was just the book was unrealistic, and I
Oh,
thought
she
the
had it
movie
memorized.
did she?
She had it. They mentioned that in the book that she had,
Oh,
and he's like,
see.
he goes, "Do you have my number?" And she goes, "I have it memorized."
Wow. See, that was one thing
Yeah.
that I was really wondering. And I was like, well, that makes the movie more realistic because she just like shows up there, but also like kind of rude that you're just showing up in the middle of his shift. It's like right in like it's peak nighttime hours,
But
dinner hours, and you're making it about
they
yourself.
are
No, I'm kidding.
they are that person for each other though.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
she went out of her way a lot for him and risked a lot. Like giving the
Yeah.
clothes and letting him sleep in her room. And
Yeah.
oh my gosh,
I
we didn't
would
talk about that enough, but
I
I
wanted to
just
see, yeah.
love those
I wanted to see more
scenes.
of young Lily and Alice. And hopefully
And
we will
her
in the
like
second movie.
her leaving the food and
I
her like
know.
knocking and hiding
And then
behind the
hiding.
tree.
It
That
was
was
it was
so
it was. It
beautiful.
was. Yeah.
And
I
her,
love the young
oh,
actors.
the difference of her kissing him on the bus.
What
Their
happened in
first kiss in the book, their first kiss is
was
like
it on the couch or
alone.
yeah,
And
like
he kisses her on the bus as like a normal thing that they do several weeks after they've been dating.
oh.
And like people see it and but like
Yeah.
in the movie she like points to him and like makes a
She's like,
statement
"Get
like,
up."
and then he's like, "Did you kiss me because you really want, like, I just need some clarity here." And
Yeah.
my heart, I was like,
We love the young actors in this movie.
I love them.
We love them. Well, I would rate looking back, my Goodreads rating for this book is a 3.5 rounded up to a 4, and
Yeah.
I think I would give the movie a 3 out of 5. Like I'm not
See,
going to
it's
see
not
it
that bad.
I'm not going to see it again, but if a man, Felipe, were to be like I would like to, like, of course, I would definitely like encourage him to watch it and I would watch it with him. But I think most of my dislike came from my dislike of the book, but I think they were equal. I think they were both about a 3 for me.
What did you most dislike about the book? Was it just the subject matter?
No, well, I don't think Colleen Hoover, like, she writes about these very hard subjects and she doesn't like write them well. Like she has been with
Mm.
her husband since she was 16 years old. She's never had her heart broken, but she is a social worker. So it's like which tomato like which
And
is
this book is about her mom, so I just think that
yeah.
she
I don't
is giving
know.
it from she's not being an educated, politically correct writer, which I just
And
love.
that's what
It's
yeah,
authentic.
it is. I will give you that. Yeah. I think also I
But
liked the
people
book
shouldn't take this book and use it as a guideline. I think
for
you could take
sure.
the movie and use it as a guideline. Like, I think that
Agree.
she, but the book it's, and I just don't think it's for that. Like, if people really need to realize it, it's like, this is not the Bible.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
that
It's
was
fiction. It's
honestly,
fiction.
and I'm just gonna say this because it's our podcast
Say it.
and this is important to me. I think the one thing missing from this is faith for me. Like, I think that Lily's character could have really benefited from faith and some seeking out of God. And I think that that was like one element for me that was like missing. But again, it's not the Bible and it's not
Yeah.
supposed to be a rule book. It's supposed to be a
Yeah.
story that maybe you can
Yeah.
learn some lessons from.
Yeah. And Colleen Hoover, I think that's what Colleen Hoover does. And that was my dislike from the book was that she's like harsh subject matter, but then doesn't appropriately like bring awareness to it. She's like, oh,
Mm.
like in the book, she makes it seem like, oh, the reason, like the issue with his brother, him killing his brother, that justifies how he beats his wife. And then, oh, she just
But
very
it
quickly left
doesn't.
him. It doesn't justify, but I think in the book, like that's how I was like, oh my gosh, like why are they talking about this so much? And I liked the movie version of it better.
Yeah, I think that she does that in the book to make it more messy. Like Jenna,
Yeah.
my sister-in-law kept saying that she was like, it's just messy because
Yeah.
people do this. Like they just make excuses. People have
Yeah.
backs. Everybody's been through something that is why they act the way that they act. And
Yeah.
but yeah, in the movie, how she finds it all out at once, and yet she still finds the conviction to cut it off is more of like girl power, how you should
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah, no, I just think Colleen
But it's not
Hoover,
real
like,
life.
that's the thing. Colleen Hoover wants to talk about harsh subjects, but she doesn't know, like, I don't think she does it well. Like, I
Mm.
think, like, Kate Brody with Rabbit Hole, like, I think she tackled these really harsh subject matters in a very, like, not politically correct, but a very, like, good, you can look towards it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But it just seems like Colleen Hoover writes about stuff and doesn't do her education and is like, oh, it's very easy to leave. Obviously,
I
it's not
don't
easy, but
Don't
I
you
don't
think
know.
that maybe that stems from her not expecting this type of fame and
Yeah. Oh,
now
for sure.
now she has it'd be like me going out and writing books. Like it's just like I'm gonna
Oh,
write this story and I love writing, but I'm not perfect.
yeah.
I think that this all happened to her really quickly and 20 books, people are gonna read what she puts out now.
See, and I'm
And
very,
you're
very,
nervous about that.
oh, I'm very excited
Yeah.
for her book. Whatever book she writes post It Ends With Us movie, I'm very excited for because she has gotten like this new wave of fame and she's getting a lot. She's always gotten a lot of hate on the internet, but I think now she realizes like, oh shoot, I need to take this seriously because people are reading my books, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And it's not just for me and for my reader base, it's for a lot of different types of people.
Yeah, yeah. But
Yeah.
I'll give my praise to Colleen Hoover that I think she does. One of her thrillers, specifically Too Late. Oh my gosh, it's about this girl getting in and out of like a very abusive relationship with like a drug lord. And it's like, what does Colleen Hoover know about
Ooh.
drug lords? But it's crazy. And she does write about subjects that I think she wants to bring awareness to, but I don't think she does it appropriately. So hopefully she will going forward. I don't know. Those are my
Yeah,
thoughts.
that's interesting. I think that this one's just different because it's really real,
It
because
is,
it's
yeah,
about her mom and it's messy and
for
it's
sure.
not perfect and cut and clean.
Yeah,
Her mom had to she literally didn't know if she was gonna stay with him or leave him until she held that baby in her hands. Like,
yeah,
and that is so real. Like, you just don't know
yeah,
until you know. And
yeah.
it's like nobody can tell you. Atlas tells him, leave him. Like, and even she's still considering it even after Elisa says, I won't talk to you again if you get
Yeah.
back with him. And she's
Yeah.
still considering it. And even in the second one, she makes that list. I just read
Mm-hmm.
this part where she reasons why a divorce. Like she's still having to
She's
convince
still,
herself.
yeah, she's still like justifying it, like pros and cons.
Well, she makes that list. She's like, he bit me. He did. Like she has to
Yeah.
you know,
Don't go
I
back, don't go back, don't go back. Yeah.
don't go back. And I just think that that's
It's
I don't know.
real.
That's real.
Wow.
That's
Well,
real.
this has been a delight, Holly Bell.
I'm just this is a weight off my chest. I've gotten my paper back and I made a B and I'm like, oh my God.
Oh, thank God.
I
No, I feel
even
like there's just so
go
much
ahead.
there's so much more we could say, but I'm happy with what we did say.
I'm happy with what we said. With the drama and everything, I think everybody should just stop trying to make them bad people. I think they're both good
Yeah,
people that
appreciate who they are.
yeah, and they're grown-ups and they're not gonna get in a cat fight for us to enjoy.
And if they don't want to
No.
talk, they don't have to talk. Like Miley Cyrus and Selena Gomez or whoever it was way back when, they filmed all kinds of stuff together and they wouldn't even speak on set. So, and
That's
we still
called a
got Disney out
working
of it.
professional.
It's called, yeah, yeah,
Don't
exactly.
you go to
It's called
work and you don't talk
professionalism.
to people?
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
Michelle and
You
I
don't,
worked at a spa where we didn't talk to anyone with each other.
and we barely talked to each other when we first started or when I
Honestly,
first started.
barely.
Yeah, because you
Barely.
scared
Because I
me.
had to be like, oh, you scared me.
Oh, good. Okay, well, perfect.
But then we got to know each other and we were like, we're friends. So,
It was mutual hatred towards the toxic work environment, but there's toxic work environments everywhere. And who maybe Blake
yeah.
Lively and Justin, like maybe they have beef from the past and they worked through it to film this beautiful movie and they don't have to be friends. Who cares?
And and I hope they put us all to shame and make a sequel together and it's great.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if he would. I think this film was like too hard for him. I don't think he would do it again.
Yeah, I mean, you can't play this character. It's like playing the Joker, it's
Yeah.
evil at its finest, and it could definitely do crazy things to your mind. And,
Yeah.
you're, I don't know.
Yeah, well, that was another conspiracy people had was they were like, "Oh, Justin's not getting the publicity because he played such a horrible person." And it's like, well, people have played all kinds of terrible people in the world and they still get publicity, so that's down the
Uh,
drain. Like that's not
I don't
who
think it's that.
cares?
I think maybe it could have been from the beginning, like, oh, we're not going to take pictures together because we don't want to romanticize these two together.
For
But
sure.
like, I could see that, but I don't understand, but it's none of my business, but I don't understand why they aren't doing some press together.
Yeah,
The
I hope
three of them.
yeah, I hope that they come forward and do something and like you said, I hope they surprise us all.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well,
Yay. Oh, we made it through.
we made it through. I'm gonna try and get this over to you like within the next hour. This is a quick edit, and I'm happy that we did it.
Me too. Thank God.
Thank God. Can we talk about is our next book? Do you want to read that thriller, The Assistant?
Yes, Michelle secured us advance copies
I love the
of The
bookouture team.
Assistant,
It's The
and
Assistant by Nicole Trope.
I am very excited. She sent it to me via Google Drive, which I just like. I'm like,
She did?
this is how we share things.
Ooh, wait, did I or did Jess?
Jess.
Oh,
The email you
perfect.
forwarded to me is like a document.
Oh, wonderful. Okay, good. Well,
So
yeah, I'm already. I've been reading it. I started it like last night, and I'm over halfway done. It's really interesting.
I'm excited. Oh my gosh.
It's giving the
I'm gonna
housemaid.
finish. I'm gonna finish up. It starts with us, and
Yeah.
then I'm gonna start it because we need a thriller in this, and also stay tuned.
Oh my gosh, I totally forgot. Why didn't you say something?
Because I was like, Michelle, she's already wearing what she's wearing.
You didn't want to trigger me going into this
didn't wanna
episode.
trigger you.
Wait, Halle Bell, I totally forgot. And it's so funny because I was like, what am I going to wear for this episode? Like, I had on the same jacket I had on last time, and I was like, no, I completely forgot.
I just am putting it on for the first time. This is a
Wait.
Bridgerton shirt.
Wait,
For
please
anyone
hold.
who's listening, but I just put it on. I got Michelle and I love an oversized t-shirt. I mean, what girl doesn't? But I got us these shirts and I got us a large, and it's like it's not very large.
I
I
wish
should
it
have got
were.
us the extra large.
I wish it was a little bigger. No, but
I
it's
wish it was like
perfect.
an XXL.
Yeah, if you ever see a shirt in a triple XL, get it for me.
Get it for me.
Any shirt, it doesn't even matter.
Also, I've already bought Michelle 2 of these shirts. There's one like floating around in the USPS.
No, maybe
Time
the people.
warp.
Maybe the people from Regal Cinemas in Royal Palm Beach who found my keys will also find the missing shirt.
If you can locate a package that has a birthday bag in it,
Let us know.
let us know.
If you
because
work for the U.S. Postal Service, let us know.
I was like looking online after I put this on last night, or when did I put this on? Today. I literally put it on for the first time today. So I was like looking online to see if we could return them and get extra larges because I'm like, this is just not big enough.
No, but also I wanted to wear it to work and I almost wore it to work on Friday. Was that yesterday? And it was too big to wear to work. I was like, even with a tuck, it seems a little too baggy. So I'm glad it's the size it is. No, but it's
So with
perfect.
but I'm just like worried with biker shorts, it might be a little short.
Oh, it's perfect for me.
Okay.
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 And
I
then
just
we-
think it's my boobs.
Yeah, I ain't got that.
I know. So you've got like a little more room.
Well, but then it hits my butt and that's where the issue falls.
And that's where the room runs out.
And mic drop, end of episode. That's it. So
If you put Michelle and I's bodies together, we would make the most perfect woman.
oh, the most perfect body shape.
We would be famous if we
We
had
would
this.
be famous. Write that down. I'm sorry. That's a clip that's going on TikTok.
That's why we were brought together.
Yeah. I need someone to make a side by side of us like in bikinis. That's like so
No.
objectifying. That's so objectifying.
There is not a picture of me in a bikini, I don't think, online.
Yes, there is. Yes, there is.
Oh no.
I know exactly.
When I'm pregnant.
No, from your bachelorette in
Am
a
I?
hot tub. You're wearing a white bikini in a hot
I need
tub.
to take that down. I need to take that down.
I'm locating it before you can delete it.
No.
Okay, so next episode is The Assistant by Nicole Trope. shout out to Jess over at Bookouture for giving us copies. It releases on August 12th or 13th, which is only in a couple days. So
I'm
shout
very
out to her.
excited.
Yeah, we got copies before it was published, so thank you guys. Read it as soon as possible, and hopefully we'll get the episode up
Do
in
an
the
episode.
next week or two.
And then stay tuned for Bridgerton.
Oh, we have to. You have to read more of the
Sampling.
Bridgerton. Where are you at
That's
with
our
that?
most popular. That's our most popular. We had to stop because of everything. All the books that we've been reading.
It's a
It has
lot.
been
No,
like
it's a lot.
it's literally been put
Also,
on the back burner, but
Did you film like a come to the movies with me?
okay, so here's what happened.
Ours is really detailed.
I'm so jealous because I had such a great time. I was just like living in the moment, but I filmed what I wore because I wore a
good.
flower shirt and I took a picture of
Let me see.
the movie screen.
Okay, well,
And
I want to
that's
see.
it.
No, I want to see a picture of your. I wore flower pants, so again, we would be the perfect person if we were one person. Well, I want to see your flower
Gosh.
shirt. I want to see that.
Oh, it's really cute. I'll send you the video, but like we don't have to post that online.
Okay, well, I'll post mine on my like personal TikTok, I guess.
No, post
What?
it on the regular.
No, because they're gonna be like, that's not Halle Bell. It's so funny because my friend Tristan, I have it set up. I have my phone set up in the movie theater, and I'm like, okay, Tristan, tell everyone what you're wearing, and she goes, Marshalls, and I'm like, that's real, like just a dress
TJ
from Marshalls.
Maxx.
Yeah, TJ Maxx.
Oh my God, that is so. I love
So-
her.
Yeah, she's the best. You have to send me a picture of your flower shirt.
I'll send you the little video because I was like, oh, I'm gonna do this. Get ready to go to the movies with me, and then I went to the movies and I had an out of body experience and I didn't do
Me too, but the opposite way.
it in the opposite.
Oh, mainly because of my keys.
Also, I was just like, didn't want to torture my mother-in-law and my sister-in-law. Like,
Oh, I
they're
think Jenna would have
family
loved
by
it.
marriage, not by choice. You know, like
Well,
or by blood. I mean,
yeah, I was like, not by
they're here by
choice.
choice. They're here by choice, not by blood.
No, you chose them, Halle Bell.
And I'm like, ready.
God, we're adorable.
I just couldn't do it. I just
Well,
couldn't do it. I
say
didn't
la
actually
vie.
think about it, but now I'm like, I just couldn't do it.
It's all I thought about. I was like, wait, hold your margarita right there.
Post it on our regular page. I want to see.
Yeah, but then there's no ending. Like, it's just like, okay, here's what we're wearing.
Maybe I'll make one when I go to the movies with Greg
Oh, perfect. Do that.
because I want to make him see this.
Yeah, you should. Perfect.
All right,
Yay.
guys.
Thanks for listening.
Bye. What?
Wait. I have to tell the viewers. Wait, let me make sure it's recording. Okay, guys. I told Halle Bell that something absolutely horrific, traumatizing, worst day of my life has happened to us. And Halle Bell seriously has been so concerned about my well-being for the last like 3 days.
It's been
And-
really stressful, actually.
So this is the picture. It's Emily Henry.
What is-
Let me paint the picture. It's Emily Henry, the book
I'm holding
cover,
myself.
the book cover of Happy Place, and then next to her is one of my other hatreds, Jennifer Lopez. And then under them, Halle Bell is none other than Luke and Nicola from Bridgerton. And so let me just read this to you. Let me read it aloud.
What? Wait, so what?
Let me read it aloud. Jennifer Lopez to produce Emily Henry's Happy Place adaptation for Netflix. She is now joined by Bridgerton Emmy nominee Leila Cohen has just closed a deal to co-write and showrun the Netflix series adaptation. Oh, I'm so sorry. That's not Emily Henry in the picture. People demanded that Nicola and Luke were the protagonists of this Friends to Lovers. J-Lo and Nicola
No.
were already following each other on Instagram, but today we have dawned that J-Lo and Luke have followed each other, and the rumors have been reignited more than ever. I'm sorry, Halle Bell, but I'm already mad enough that it's being made into a Netflix TV show, movie, whatever it is. I'm upset about it being J-Lo, and if she ruins it for these Bridgerton people, I'm gonna lose my mind.
this is bad. This is
No,
really, really
no,
bad.
this is really bad. This is terrible. I can't
Abort
believe I
ship.
forgot to talk about it with we have our Bridgerton shirts on.
I must
Let me
protect
just
them at all cost. They
here's
need
we
to
have to protect them.
vacate.
Here's the whole graphic.
No, 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 no.
For
I'm
those who don't know,
shaking.
I'm shaking in my boots. For those who don't know, Happy Place is the worst book I've ever. Well, no, it's not the
If you
worst book
want to
ever.
hear me roast, if you want to hear me roast a book, yeah,
Happy Place. That's
Happy
it.
Place.
We can
Yeah.
talk about it. It's so bad. And everything that you see here ruined my day when I texted you. And I was like, no, I need her live reaction because I think it's hysterical. They can't ruin these people for me. No. If
I'm not frozen. I'm just frozen.
That's all.
Oh,
The,
oh, oh
if
no.
if Luke plays
Oh
that
no, 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 no.
if Colin Bridgerton plays that horrible woodworking man, that
He's
carpenter,
not him.
he's not
They're
Win.
not.
What's his name? Win? Did I make that up?
And she's not her. She's
We
supposed to be like a mousy brown-headed girl.
not Penelope
This isn't.
Bridgerton. That's it. And with that, I bid you adieu. To you and you and you. And you, J-Lo. And you, Ryan Reynolds.
I cannot sleep tonight.
No, I thought
Oh,
about
I'm
this for
so
days.
stressed.
I thought about
So
this for days.
stressed.
Good luck. I'm mad that J-Lo's producing it.
And we're gonna have to watch it.
And we're going to have to watch it. And then we're going to have to do this again.
Ugh.
At least we'll agree on that movie, hopefully.
I think by that time I'm gonna like have quit.
Quit podcasting or quit reading? Crap.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Like, worst comes to worst, we can just read Bridgerton books and we can like live
Oh,
a happy life.
Easy. And at some point, we'll get Freda McFadden on here and then we'll be set.
fine.
Yeah. Okay.
And then
well,
we'll just retire after we finish.
if you can retire from the salary we've made from this, please let me know because I can't.
No, I mean just retire. Retire.
Just be done.